Welcome everyone back to another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son George. I was my mother's caregiver after she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Unfortunately, she passed on 1/1/2020, but we started TogetherForSharon.com in her memory. Today's guests are somebody, one who means the world to me, and the other also means the world to Brian, and hopefully after today, also to me. And it's just really an honor to have you both here. Brian, someone I've been kind of following, and we've talked for, it feels like a year or more. But the honesty is really, I try to think of one word for every show. I think the brute force honesty is what I love about you, Brian. I'm a lot like you, I think. I don't believe in kind of hiding or sugarcoating things. I'm not asked a lot of times to speak because I do tell the truth about what my mother went through. I don't believe we should ever be dishonest. And I do love the entire Parkinson's world, but I feel what you're doing and bring the advocacy that you do really truly inspires me. So welcome to you, Brian and Doris. It's just an honor to have you both here with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it. Love to be with you.
Maybe you could start off just telling me a little, or telling everyone listening, hopefully it's not just me listening, but hopefully everyone out there, a little bit about yourself and, your journey with Parkinson's.
Yeah, 54 years old. Had Parkinson's now since 2011, and yeah, 55. She says, yeah, 55, yeah, 55, 55, yeah. She's trying to, yeah, 55. I'm trying to hold back. I've been here, been with Parkinson's now for 13 years, which is joy. I've been out of work now 3.5 years now, going on 4 years, I think, and this has been a real treat. I had DBS in 2019, so 5 years ago. And I used to be like a really active type of guy, all sorts of stuff going on, which we get into. But yeah, this is my lovely wife, my beautiful caregiver. She's put up with so much stuff. As an example, in 2022, we were in the ER 11 times for me.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's no fun.
Well, you're a warrior to me and a hero to many. I think even if someone says you're not, I disagree with them. So, because I know at some point, sometimes it's tough to be honest, and it's not like everyone always wants to hear the tougher side. So I think by you sharing your journey, really, I think again, will definitely help many individuals out there who might feel alone. Maybe Doris, you could kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself and what it's like on a daily basis being aiding and helping Brian during the tougher times.
Um, I guess I do work full time. I work from home, which on one hand it's very much a blessing that I can work from home. But then at the same time, it also gets to be a little difficult when I need to be taking care of him, when there's obviously work that needs to be done. But I'm fortunate to have employers that totally understand the situation. My immediate boss, actually, his dad has Parkinson's, so I think he can kind of understand what I'm going through when I say when I'm on a phone call, I'm like, oh, gotta go, Brian fell. And he's like, oh, just hang up. Anytime that happens, just hang up and we'll pick back up when you're all set. So I'm very fortunate to be in that situation. Taking care of him on a daily basis, it depends on the day and the hour. Sometimes it's an all day pick him up kind of day, and other times he can just go out and take care of himself for a while and almost seem normal.
No less than 10 minutes here before I started this call. I was on the floor. She'd help me up.
I wish
Yeah.
we send our love and support always to you, even if you don't know it. I'll always remind you. What is it? One question I have for Brian, it's important, is what made you want to really show different sides of the disease? I was told my mother about 15 literal times that you don't die of Parkinson's, you die with it. They really skirt around the reality sometime. And as you might be aware, and you could probably testify more than me today, they'll give a brochure and then that, you're on your way. Of course, I do, love the medical field. I blame the disease, not the doctors. But what made you kind of decide to do something like Parkinson's Uncensored, which I'm going to actually share now while you address that?
I've always been open like that. If someone's gonna say it, I'll say it. If no one else is gonna say it, I'll say it because it's just said. Sometimes it just needs to be said. If you're hiding the truth, you're lying. And so why lie about it? I was with nasty stuff on Parkinson's, and if you're communicating with people, if you're advocating for people, and you're not telling the truth, they're in a situation where sometimes they're why the hell did they got to tell me? You know, why didn't no one tell me that? And it's terrible. I think some of that kind of roots in my early days of Parkinson's. I was given one of the rainbow books from National Parkinson's Foundation back in the day, and it had all the symptoms of Parkinson's. And I looked through it, and the first several were like, "Oh, yeah, I have that, I have that." And I thought it was just the symptoms of turning 40. You know, I thought my warranty ran out, so I was just breaking down. And so I look at this stuff in the book, and it's all laid out linearly. And I look to the other territories in the future, and there are all the stuff that we're forced to look at living with, and it's terrible. So I was just kind of open like that.
And what I love is, again, Uncensored. It's really the only thing out there like it. I hope everyone, again, listening will go to Parkinson's Uncensored on Facebook. Please subscribe to the group. I'm a member and definitely support all that Brian does. What are some of the kind of responses that you've gotten? If you can tell us, maybe some of them you don't want to, but have you gotten, more positive responses, more kind of timid or shy, or what is you? I know it's fairly new. I want this group to say 1 million followers eventually, so we have some work to do. But this hopefully will go around the world, this show today, and we can get this up big time. But I was just curious if you had an overwhelming response or what kind of response so far.
Not too big a response really. I haven't really started pushing it. Just letting it grow organically. I started because I was really mad one day, and I just did enough fall and stuff, and I just said, "It's crazy. You just gotta get this out there because it's happening to me. It's gotta happen to other people." And so if people are telling you they're peeing their pants, they're lying. You know, if the guys are not telling you they're having erectile dysfunction, they're lying. You know, because and just get out there. It's truth. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, one thing I love is your honesty, like I said, but I look in my awareness advocacy, I look for individuals with unique perspectives and that I don't see a lot out there doing. That's why I fell in love with you because again, you're honest, you're real, and you're showing the good, the bad, and the ugly, which I tried to do in one of my first books about my mother and our journey. And I always tell people there's one chapter, her last life. I always tell people to skip, but then I'm thinking, Brian wouldn't say that. He'd say to read it because you don't want to kind of forget the tougher times because there are good times or tough times, but we have to be a family in this fight. And I think that what you're doing again through awareness is very, very critical and important. I also wanted everyone to also see that you have a YouTube, which I subscribe. If you go to Brian's YouTube page, and this is very important. I'm going to play it without the voice, but I really like, again, a lot of the things you share without the voice. That was my fault. So as I love watching people on the show watch themselves. So as we talk, maybe you could talk a little bit about what you're trying to also portray on the YouTube videos.
I like to have fun. I love to laugh. I love having fun. You know, I tell jokes all the time, and so most of the stuff out there is just hilarious stuff. But there's a serious side too to Parkinson's. You know, I get back to Oral Parkinson's Congress 2 years ago with Doris and I were there. And one of the early sessions was all the people with Parkinson's. And I get up and talks about stuff, and one of the guys was talking about honesty. And I felt we weren't being honest. And so I got up there and I walked up by the mic and I talked to Heather Kennedy. I said, "Hey Heather, if I get out of line, just set me down, you know, so, and don't let me get too out of place." And it was my turn to the mic, and I told him, I said, "Listen, you know, if we want to get support, if we want to get all sorts of people around the world to support us, we got to change the image of Parkinson's. Parkinson's is not happy. Parkinson's is ugly. It's brutal. It's bloody. And you can't just go around saying, 'Oh, I take care of the bleed, and I'm good, yay!' And it's just not right." And I told him, I said, "We just have to change it. You know, we have to be honest." And Tim Hague Senior looked at me like, "I don't know what to do with it, Brian." And I just said, "That's all." And I sat down, and like immediately, Larry Gifford come running over to me. "You got to be on a podcast. You got to be on a podcast." You know, because no one else is saying that stuff.
Yeah, that's why I really was excited to have you both on. And Doris, maybe you could touch a little bit about while he's making some of the wild videos. What are you thinking of behind the scenes?
I just hope he doesn't get hurt doing some of these stunts. And I think one that he just did when we were down in Gainesville, he was laying on the ground with his leg in the crocodile's mouth. It was like a fake crocodile, but all these people came running out of the hotel, asked him if he needed help. And I'm like, "No, he's just being funny. It's just Brian." Yeah.
I didn't fall. I just got down there on my hands and just got it with the alligator.
Everybody worries about him. Everybody.
Well, welcome to Florida. I'm in Florida too. So And this was a amazing article done by the Michael J. Fox Foundation. I always think it's important that they also, portray individuals' voices out there. I wonder if some of maybe you could talk about, do any of the bigger organizations not regret having you, but all kind of maybe feel a little scared that they're not sure what you'll say next?
I gotta think that's why I didn't get out there with some of those stuff. I have no problem public speaking. I've been on a panel back in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Michael J. Fox Partners and Parkinson's came to town, and I've been on a panel, and I have no problem talking for people. It's just I kind of think that maybe I kind of got a lemon by my name or something because it's just I just kind of sometimes upset people, but I can tell you this much when I talk to crowds, I've done it in Grand Rapids many times, all sorts of places, talked to a bunch of college kids and stuff, and I tell you, every time I leave half the crowd crying, because I'm just so honest and open.
Yeah, I don't think some of the organizations that were really, like, I don't want to say fond of us, but we connected with when he started having all sorts of issues, and he would be talking to them. They're like, oh, we don't want to talk about that because we'll scare the young ones when they're first diagnosed. We don't want them to think it's like a bad thing. Well, it is a bad thing. Come on. They need to know what's going to happen to them. They need to know, do what you can while you can.
Yeah.
I just don't think they want him to put that message out there. They'd rather let people think it's not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like so alike to both of you, and this is the same one. I wanted to play another one as we talk, but I feel so similar. Like we would need 12 hours of a show to talk about all these areas, but I also feel the same way in a lot of what you're both saying. And I think that it's so important. Again, that's why we have the show, for awareness, to show all the sides, it's very important. But what are some of the tougher days that you both find even today? And what are your thoughts looking forward to the future?
Toughest days. They come and go. My symptoms seem to come and go. They ride their good days and bad days. And just a week ago, I was out in the garage, I was just having a fit. I had a little breakdown. Because I was falling and stuff, and it's aggravating because they tell you when you get Parkinson's, oh, you're gonna have falls, you're gonna just that stuff. But the problem with that is when you fall with Parkinson's, you don't have the ability to protect yourself. You can't get your arms out. You can't save yourself. And so you just fall and smack yourself on the ground really hard. And there's complications to the symptoms that no one really thinks about like that. And I just had enough of it one day. I was out just falling on the floor, just trying to get up. And it's just aggravating.
Yeah, I guess when they said falls, I picture like, you go to sit down on a chair and you miss it and you fall, something simple.
Yeah,
that's not
the
first
countertop
flat that you do. Yeah, that's the stitches over the eyes and everywhere. Yeah.
I broke my nose a couple times. I got scars all over my face now. One time I fell in the laundry room and I couldn't feel my arms and legs for a few seconds. I thought I was gone.
Well, I'm sending a virtual hug to both of you and for all you do. And again, I think you inspire so many, and hopefully today we'll show that to the world. How did DBS change your life? Was it something that you were glad you did? I've had many guests, different opinions, but I'm just curious, in your opinion, did you feel it helped? Do you regret it?
Well, here, let me tell you this. This book, which is available on Amazon, which is really not published right now. It's from John Stanford in the UK. John reached out to the people that he thinks are the most valued opinions about DBS, and I'm fortunate to be one of those people. I consider my DBS as a failure, a complete failure.
Not complete, but I would say failure.
It's coming around, but the initial stages are a complete failure. I was supposed to be in an operating room like 3 hours something, and the guy got it done in 57 minutes, 7 minutes, 57 minutes, crazy stuff. And I've had problems ever since. They say that it's because he didn't have to. They had everything lined up, everything was ready to go, and he didn't know students to teach stuff, so he just kind of streamlined. But finding my sweet spot's been off for a long time. I kind of thought for a while that I was gonna have to wait till my disease progressed more so we could use it more. Like Doris said, we were just down in Gainesville early in the year. We were down to see people at the Fixel Center at Gainesville, UF, and we Dr. Long and Dr. Ork and stuff, and they did some great work on me. they took it all apart and put it back together. And one of the things that also happened for me, back in December, my battery was running out. So actually it will switch brands. So I switched to another manufacturer, which had more knobs and buttons, so to say, to make some changes and adjustments for me. And it's really made a big difference. I'd say the past 6 days or so, I've been walking pretty good. You know, today's kind of off, but yeah. So everything comes and goes.
To me, it was a failure because he had it done and they were telling us all along, you know, this is going to buy him 6-7 years of a normal life. And it never did. And then just that was in August of 2019. And in October of 2020, he had to quit working because he wasn't able to dress himself. He wasn't able to get himself out and to work on time. He couldn't get in and out of the bathrooms. He would just freeze up, and he was constantly calling me saying, you know, talk me down because I'm in a really bad place right now. And that's not a success. If you can't even go a year of working.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. Hopefully they can still help. I mean, I'm someone who had 4 back surgeries that didn't work, and I'm actually thinking about that spinal cord stimulator, but not too sure about it. So I am the kind of person though that, like you, would do the DBS if I've ever had a choice, just because, you know, you're seeking for some help, you know, you're hoping, and you rely on the medical community, but they're not always, unfortunately, accurate, or you wonder if you're getting the right person. So it's hard, very hard, but I send again
Yeah.
our love and support.
Well, I see Dr. Charlotte, and I put all my faith in her, and she told me after a couple visits, you know, you're my number one patient because I don't know what to do with it anymore. I don't know what to do. And she's an accomplished, experienced movement disorder specialist. And she's like, I'm at the end of my road. I don't know. Yeah, you should go to Florida. Okay, yeah. Well, I do consider my DBS a failure. I would not be here today without it though. I was so erratic with dyskinesia back then. It was insane. Yeah. So it's done good, but it's just not what we wanted.
Yeah, my mother, I mean, the last 4 years was tough. That's when she had a rapid decline. She was only 69, and we don't even know what happened to this minute sitting here. I'm still kind of confused, but I remember pulling one professional doctor in another room saying, Doc, you know, is my mother going to live? And he didn't say yes or no. He didn't say anything, but, you know, you're getting information here, but different information there. And it was definitely something that I will never forget. And that's why we do this, because I do want a cure for everyone like you who's struggling today. I think about you all 24/7. Some nights I don't sleep wishing that you didn't have to go through this. And I won't stop fighting, like you probably know by now, until we have a cure at all our doorsteps. And it's not just about the US, you know, it's everyone around the world that I feel we have to be a family together in this. So again, I'm so appreciative of all that both of you do. And I mean, Doris can have another show just about caregiving, because I know I was sitting in that seat. My mother, you know, we had a different relationship. My mother was divorced, so she really relied and only had me. I'm a man, so even the women issues were something, a new thing to me, and it's just so much to talk about. But I do want to kind of see if you had any other areas of the world of Parkinson you want to share. Otherwise, I want to shift to a little bit, I don't know if I call it fun, but a little bit more about both of you.
I think so.
But remember, this even after today, this conversation cannot end. I always say this has to be shared, then shared and shared again, because until we have a cure, this conversation cannot end now. And that's why, again, I love Parkinson's Uncensored. I even love the name of it. I kind of need a T-shirt someday if you're gonna create. I could see that on your own TV show one day. You know.
I would say the tide is changing out there. Besides research stuff, the tide is changing. I recently had a little scuff up with some people that had some ads online about Parkinson's, and they were depicting in the picture a Parkinson's person diagnosed with Parkinson's, and the doctor was smiling, and another ad had 2 women laughing about diagnosed stuff, and I just looked my handle with that. I was like, no, they can't have that. And so I learned from my great grandmother many years ago, the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the oil. And so I made big squeaks. You know, I told Doris one night laying in bed, I said, I'm gonna have to be Morton Downey Jr. on this one. You remember Morton Downey?
Yeah, of course.
Chicago?
I'm from New York.
Yeah. So I said, I'm gonna have to be Morton Downey on this one. And so I was. And
Andrew Dice
raised,
Clay, Andrew Dice Clay too.
yeah. So I raised a bunch of hell, and I actually talked to Polly at Davis Finney,
Mhm.
and she understood what I was talking about, and we had open line of communication now, and the big one was the Parkinson Foundation out of Miami in New York. It's just crazy stuff, and I talked with them, and they said, "Oh yeah, we realize it now. We'll take that out." So sometimes you just gotta get out there, get in a fight, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you have to speak up if there's something you're not satisfied with. Not everyone will always be on board, but you might have a 99% people on your team. I've seen many things where I'm kind of timid and decide. Even let's talk about for a minute, which I always go right to tough topics. We have a blog about it. I talk about licensed medical marijuana, death with dignity, all these things. People kind of it's like taboo, but I think you need to speak about it so that people will be informed. But even one good thing happening, which is not about the politics, but that when they claimed if President Biden had Parkinson's or not, it's not really the topic I wanted to talk about, but having the word Parkinson's disease and awareness in the lips almost of all of America was very important. I don't like the stuff that they talk about, but seeing that, the nation now, understands or is going to be forced a little to learn about the disease actually helps in a way because it's getting more awareness. So I commend you again, both of you, for tackling the tough topics and not kind of just standing down and moving, letting it fly by. And I do remember when you spoke up about that, and I liked it. So I'll probably be banned with you everywhere.
Yeah, no, yeah. So back to the ads. I didn't go out there alone. I was just by myself. I polled a bunch of people. I asked a bunch of people out there, "Do you smile when you prep those stuff?" So I know I wasn't alone. And the part about the president having Parkinson's, 90+% of people I meet think dyskinesia.
Right.
Yeah,
They think that.
that's
They
Parkinson's.
think that is Parkinson's. They think that is it. They think this is Michael J. Fox wiggling in the chair. They think
External.
that's Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that is not Parkinson's. That is a side effect of the drugs.
Mhm.
And they think, oh, really? And it
Yeah.
burns me up because they think that is the only thing that Parkinson's is.
And
Shaky.
It's appalling.
Mhm.
a lot of the shows I do out of my show, like I go on shows that people aren't aware of Parkinson's, do not have it, because I think we need to educate the world and get them on board. But my mother had dystonia, dyskinesia, everything. Her the curling of the toes. I was a little upset because she had internal tremors versus later in her life the external, but it made her feel bad because she felt that people didn't believe her. And there's so
Yeah.
much more to the disease than just, Michael J. Fox to me is a hero because he came out and fights today for awareness when he could have lived a private life like some people do, which I have no problem with either. But yes, I like that. Well, that's why we spoke too. I won't get into about my next book, which is on policing and Parkinson's, and you're a part of it. So I wanted to thank you too for that. I had a post the other day too, that just because someone, I've had some people on my show at Parkinson's, and that happened to be the timing where they look beautiful and happy, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And that's, again, I'll keep saying it, why I love what you do and your support from Doris, because I think it's so important that we have voices like yours out there fighting for many people who might not want to speak up or might not have the ability to. So thank you both again for that. I wanted to shift now, and I call this fun part, but you might not think, it might be a little torture for you. But Brian, I love this one. Can you list, and this is for each of you, we can take together or share it. Can you list 3 words that describe who you are?
Um. Yeah.
He doesn't like talking about himself
No,
anyway.
no, no.
Neither
I
of us, no.
think,
Or you can flip it and tell me about
determined,
Determined.
That's good.
confident, and humble.
I love it.
I was gonna say stubborn, but okay.
So Doris has 3. Doris has 3 of her own to describe me. And lovable, I know. I love him. So,
I don't know. I don't talk about myself. What do I?
I could give you we could go to the next question for you.
Yeah, let's go to the next
But
question.
she's loving,
Yeah.
she's caring, and She's adorable. Yeah. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if you know, but we used to run a toy charity.
Yes.
Yeah, we were in,
That's some time
we were in a
ago.
toy charity out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, called Fate, finding toys for everyone,
Wow.
which repurposed toys for gently used toys for
Wow.
didn't have stuff at Christmas time. And it
Nice.
started it, and we gave toys away for almost 10 years. It was just tremendous.
Mhm.
Thousands of kids were helped.
How about what is one moment, and this for either of you, what one moment or one most memorable moment that stands out through most of your work with awareness that you could share?
Say that one
A
again.
memorable moment.
Yeah, is there one that stands out? It could be Parkinson's Uncensored. It could be when you did speak with, on stage before. Is there one? It might not be one moment. You don't have to answer these, by the
No,
way.
I don't know if there's a moment, but there's one thing that bothers me that, and I think it was like suddenly a switch that phrase living well. I mean, for a while I just kind of let it be, and then I heard it, I don't know, not too long ago, and it just flipped a switch with me because I'm tired of hearing that phrase living well. You can't live well with Parkinson's, and I wish they quit trying to tell us that we can.
Thank you. And I love, again, honesty. And I like when people flip the questions because I learned from that. And I'll actually add that, I think, in the future. Here's a tough one. Since I know Doris is with you, I usually try to bring the people behind the scenes because obviously Brian's the spokesperson here. But I like to bring people like Doris out, even if you weren't with us today. And I just was wondering, and you already answered, but Brian, who helps you during times of struggle? We know it's Doris, but if you could all give tips to any caregivers listening, what would that be?
Get first aid training for sure.
Never had that one before.
Yes, yeah, I would have gotten some better training for sure. Learn what aids there are available to help take care of your person. I mean, if there's slings or stretchers or just learning how to pick them off the floor, how to move them around in bed, any of that stuff, because I was clueless when I first had to start doing that. And we've figured out how to do it now, but it was a struggle. It was really painful struggle for a while for us. It was very demanding. Mhm.
Well, I think you are a hero, not just for Brian, but so many out there that now will be aware of all the incredible things both of you do. I really appreciate the honesty.
She has saved my life a number of times.
Yeah.
Number of times she saved my life. There's no doubt about it. If she was there, I'd be dead a number of times already.
Well, I'm going to thank her again then for everyone out here on behalf of everyone. This one's a fun one, but Brian, if you were asked to write a script to a movie about your life story, what would you call it?
Oh no, beep.
I like that. That's awesome.
Jeez. There's a question.
You can always get back to me.
Yeah, probably something like "Here Comes Honesty" or something like that.
I like blue. I thought it was bleep because that's a good one.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
bleep.
That's
But
it.
yes.
Yeah.
And as we kind of wrap up, I have two more. Who's your hero and inspiration for both of you?
Hey,
That's fine.
who's a hero for me? This lady here. Lady
I
here.
love it. This should be a game. We could have that game show, and you have to hold up what the other spouse is.
Like
gonna
the
do.
newlywed cards,
Yeah.
yeah.
We both just
Yeah.
won. I don't have a prize. All I have is love. I don't have a prize. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then-
My wife is, and there's a number of Parkinson's patients out there that are just blazing trails, doing all sorts of stuff. They're just phenomenal people. Shoni Mather's one of them. She's just phenomenal. Larry Giffords another one. These people are just blazing trails and knocking outdoors and making so many people wear stuff. It's just crazy stuff. You just have to do it. Just you got to dig dirt, as I say.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And then I had one final question for both of you is if you could leave the Parkinson's community today with some words of encouragement, what would they be?
Oh, I thought you said if I could leave the Parkinson's community, I was already out the door. Yeah, I was running. Yeah, I was going. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, words of encouragement.
Well, you could do words of reality for this show. Or and also after that, let me know how everyone could reach you if you want to be reached.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reach out to friends. If you have any issues and you're just like afraid to bring them up, call a friend because they probably had the same issue and they just didn't know how to bring it up to you. And I think just networking with your fellow Parkinson's people is just an amazing way to figure out what's going on and how to fix it, or at least how to cope with it.
Yeah, I would say network for sure. You know, I've been on the honor of being in Grand Rapids at Rally the Challenge at Van Halen Institute, and I've met so many people from UK. John Sefford, uh, David Jones, David Sanger,
Helen Matthews,
yeah, and
Vicky,
all sorts of
Taylor.
people. And down in New Zealand, we got Andy. In South Australia, we got Salty. So we met all these people over time, and we're all networked and we're tight and we know shit. And so we just laid online with people. And you know, I would say if someone's not scaring you, you know, you gotta get scared because it's a disease. It's a disease of your head. It's a disease of your brain. It just continues to grow, and it's not gonna go back. And you know, so be scared because it means business. You know, one of the things I've been seeing lately is people say it's not a death sentence, it's a life sentence. Yeah, it means a big difference. It's not a death sentence, it's a life sentence. Yeah, so you're gonna have it all the time. It's not going away. I'm gonna get used to it. And it's just gonna be terrible.
Well, thank you, and thank you both. I mean, like I said when we started, the honesty and the truth means the world to so many. I think it's incredible that we have social media because it brings all of us together like we met. Obviously, there are downsides to the dark side of social media, but by having you out there still voicing the truth means the world to so many. So just have a little message for both of you and everyone listening. We love you. We support you. We care a lot about you, and you're never alone. I, along with Doris and Brian, will advocate for you, and together I feel our voices are so much stronger. And I always joke and say I'm just getting started because I remember the first time I think I met Brian on a PD Avengers meeting. He was
Yeah.
like yelling at something, and I'm like, I love this guy. And I reached out, and he was such a beautiful person to respond. And now today I feel again we're family. My next book next year coming out, Brian's a big part of because he shared a little journey with issue with, you know, whether good, bad, or ugly with police and Parkinson, but together I feel like we can really reach the world, change awareness, and make the place much better, but at the same time, be honest and truthful, because I think both of us have nothing to hide. And I think that's part of the great thing about these shows and our discussions is it really comes out, you know, people can watch this now, share it, please, and support Brian, sign up for Brian's YouTube. So you'll definitely smile. You'll kind of maybe have some tears, but you'll know that he's out there still fighting for everyone. And really, honest and truth is really the way to go. So I want to thank you, Brian, for being you and for always being honest. And you, Doris, for making sure that Brian's safe. I'll sleep a little bit tonight knowing he's going to be okay because you're by his side. And again, I send my love to you both, the family, and everybody watching.
As well, and people can reach me, just leave me on the internet. Just leave me on the internet. I'm out there. Phone number, address, everything's out there. You'll find me if you want me.
Don't visit his house unless he invites you first, please. I don't think
Come
Doris-
on
Come on over.
over.
Yeah, I told you the story about our house. Come on down.
Doors open. Come
Doors
on
open.
in.
Yep.
No, I appreciate it. And again, thank you all. This has been another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son, George. Please stay tuned. So much more to come. Please support Doris and Brian on all their journey. And really, again, just grateful for all of your time. That's probably the best ending of any show ever. I wish I had the little love thing. I can float. I think if you do like this, it's supposedly some hand goes with it. Love you all. Thanks. Stay tuned for a lot more to come. Thanks,
Yeah.
Brian. Sure.